Batman Arkham Asylum, the game that changed gaming for the foreseeable future, with its at the time groundbreaking combat, allowing the player to step into the boots of Batman, with all the vent crawling and beating up thugs included. I have to admit that I myself was a kid back when this game released back in 2009, and it was a big game changer for the superhero games I had played previously, such as Batman Begins, which was enjoyable, especially with the fear mechanic that caused enemies to drop their guns. I mean, look at it. It's not that realistic, right? I mean, why would you throw away the only thing protecting you? Anyhow, it was either Batman Begins or one of the Spider-Man games, such as Web of Shadows, which is still a very enjoyable game in its own right, and at the time that was most likely the best the superhero genre had to offer. Focusing more on Arkham Asylum, the game starts off with Batman once again dropping off the Joker at the Asylum. We obviously play as a more experienced Batman in this game that has had his share of run-ins with his extensive roster of villains already.
It's the Bat!
No!
What the hell?
No! No!
We're under attack!
We are greeted by the Warden, who says balls to greet us.
Balls!
Why does he say this? I have no idea. Maybe he just wanted some balls, maybe meatballs. Obviously this tips Batman off that something weird is up. I mean, who says balls? You go through the Asylum, slowly accompanying Joker, who's tied up, almost like Hannibal, minus the mask. You can, during your slow walk through the Asylum, see the corridors and environment you're about to explore in the coming game. You can see vent openings you're going to have to crawl through, or spaces where you're going to have to climb when the elevator eventually breaks.
Get down!
Further inside the Asylum, a spoiler alert, Batman is right and it turns out Harley Quinn and Joker have done a hostile takeover of the Asylum. What follows is a fight against some prison inmates, and Batman is finally trapped in the Asylum. But actually he's not trapped. I like to break down the gameplay in the Arkham games in 3 different stages. There's the combat stage that you're introduced to at the beginning of the game, and then there's the stealth stage where you have to dispatch your enemies undetected. And then there's the exploration stage where you walk, run, glide and grapple your way around Arkham Asylum to discover new areas and secrets, such as the Riddler trophies hidden around the Asylum. The combat phases of the game are generally very combo focused, and according to Rocksteady themselves, there was an attempt at first to make something rhythm-based, which eventually evolved into the combat system we have today. And I have to agree that there is a certain kind of rhythm to the combat gameplay, with dealing out hits and countering attacks being the majority of it. But also such things as the stun attacks with the cape and vaulting over enemies to dodge attacks. There were of course several other games before Arkham Asylum who had used similar combat consisting of hits and counters, but Arkham Asylum was the first game to make the combat a lot more fluid, despite Batman jumping far distances mid-battle like a ballerina to deliver a punch. It just works. No, Todd, not that kind of works. Todd, get back in the closet. Todd, get back. The stealth phases, meanwhile, are much less rhythmic in nature, with you either crawling around in vents or swinging on gargoyles to avoid enemy detection, using such tools such as the explosive gel or the bat claw. And in most cases detection wouldn't mean instant defeat, which made it slightly more forgiving in case you slipped up and got detected.
Keep your trap shut. You won't get away from it. Here! Kill Gordon!
Nothing personal, old man.
Do your worst.
Not to mention the detective mode, which made it easy to keep track of all the enemies in the area. The third phase of the game, the exploration phase, where you conduct your detective business of course, had a lot of inspiration from the Zelda and Metroid games, where you use different tools in tandem to complete puzzles, to unlock new secrets of the Asylum. All in all, I think Rocksteady really managed to nail all the aspects of the Caped Crusader, with the combat, the stealth, and of course the detective work. And then there was of course also the story and setting of Arkham Asylum, with writer Paul Dini from Batman the Animated Series on the project to head the game's story. Paul had the task to make the story fit in within the actual gameplay, while also managing to be pretty damn good. Something I would say he succeeded with the game being very small in scale, while still giving the player a lot of variety and the different tasks to do during the game's short runtime. Also, something you have to give Rocksteady praise on is the execution of the game's atmosphere, with a recognizable jingle before a Joker announcement.
The entire island will soon be under my control.
Or the gradual takeover by inmates of the Asylum, where you at the start of the game can see guards patrolling the grounds, only to later on be replaced by escaped inmates. Not to mention some of the more horror-worthy moments in the game, such as Scarecrow's nightmares or Killer Croc's lair. I can't forget the rising hairs on my back whenever Killer Croc pops out of the sewers, which happened a lot on my recent playthrough, and when I say a lot, I mean like a lot. Or the morgue, which I could just imagine being a part of a horror game, with the slight whispering in the background or the slightly moving body bags. Also, I like the detail that you can actually tell when you're about to get a Scarecrow segment, since some mysterious gas is gonna seep out, and Batman might cough if you get close to it. During my first playthrough I never noticed this, but obviously you start to pay attention the more times you play this game, and really notice these small details that the developers put into the game. Man, I really think it would have been amazing to see Rocksteady try their hand at a horror game back in the day. They obviously had potential for it. Well, I guess that's just one more game we have to put in the pile with other games we wish were finished or created. The environments have this gothic architecture and dark feeling to them, combined with this futuristic technology that makes the Asylum feel very varied in its environments, as well as the very torture-reminiscent asylum beds and chairs. I can't imagine this would fly at a modern insane asylum today. I mean, look at it. And of course, I couldn't ignore the great performances of Kevin Conroy as Batman,
Officer Bowles.
and Mark Hamill as the Joker, as well as Arlene Sorkin as Harley Quinn.
How do you like my new uniform? Pretty hot, huh?
All three reprising their roles from Batman the Animated Series. Obviously, the game took a lot of inspiration from the animated series in their portrayal of these characters, but in a slightly more dark and gritty way compared to the animated series. And I especially gotta give kudos.
Welcome to the madhouse, Batman! I set a trap, and you sprang a glorious trap! First thing tomorrow, I'm sending a lovely case of cat food to Batman!
The Joker? What are you doing here?
I told you not to speak!
Well, if you're done, Joker, maybe I could go on to talk about...
Yeah, but then I realized it'd be more fun to get rid of you and run the show myself.
Alright, I was about to praise Mark Hamill for his performance as the Joker, but since the Joker so rudely interrupted me, I'll leave it at that and conclude that all in all, Arkham Asylum is still a great game. The sequels improved a lot, but I still think Asylum has the best atmosphere out of all the Arkham games. So you should go and play it if you haven't already. And at least Joker isn't coming back.
This March, you'll be able to unlock a new playable character for your squad, the Joker.
At least buy me dinner first.
What the fuck?
And so I'm home in the asylum, ever alone in the asylum.